Hi, Girl Scouts. How are you? It's so great to see you all. I'm Katie Herstein, and I'm the Program and Events Manager at Girl Scouts of Colorado. So I get to be the one who gets to host this virtual series where we introduce Girl Scouts to accomplished women in a whole variety of professions so you can begin to be inspired about what your own future is going to be like. You never know, right? There's so many things to explore. So we have a perfect partner that works with us to bring this series to you, and that's College Invest. So College Invest, they're Colorado's college savings program. So it makes it easy to save for higher education after high school. So they exist for one reason, and that's to help you and your families put money away for your future. So, and I started a College Invest savings plan when we moved here 10 years ago, and I now have a daughter going to college in the fall. She's going to University of Colorado in Boulder, and we're so excited for her. And we've got a Colorado savings plan for her to help pay for that college education. So it's basically like a piggy bank where your parents, caregivers, grandparents, birthday money, things like that can go into that savings account, and it grows tax-free. So when it gets taken out, you don't have to pay taxes on it. So your money can go even further, and it can be used for college anywhere across the country. It can be used for a trade school or an apprenticeship program, which would give you real world work experience. So we're going to hear a few words from their CEO, the leader of their organization company, about what she hopes that you'll get out of today.
Hi, I'm Angela Beyer, CEO of College Invest, and welcome to this episode of Inspiring Futures. Through Girl Scouts, you've learned that if you can dream it, you can do it. And here at College Invest, Colorado's education savings program, we help you get there. And you're never too young to begin to imagine your inspired future. So how will you impact this world? Will you run your own business, invent a new technology, or maybe even discover a life-saving cure? But wherever your inspiration takes you, a College Invest savings plan can help make your dreams a reality. Now, prepare to be inspired.
Great. It's always good to hear from her. So it's a couple of housekeeping items. So we are recording this session so that any Girl Scouts who weren't able to attend this evening, they can still watch it later. And we'll be going up onto our YouTube channel that we have for Inspiring Futures. But I'll make sure that I block out any of your faces that are showing and things like that, so it won't be out in public, but we would love to see your lovely faces now, and I can see a few of you on my screen. So thank you for doing that. And you can always put comments in the chat. I'll be watching that too. But it's going to be a very interactive session today and a lot of fun. So, but I wanted to get that out of the way and talk about that. And if any of you want to unmute, come and join along with me as we say our promise and law. Are you ready? On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country and help people at all times. And live by the Girl Scout law.
To live by the Girl Scout law.
And the Girl Scout law is, I'll be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, responsible for what I say and do, and to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
To every Girl Scout.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for helping me out. So great. Well, what you've been waiting here for. So we have Shannon Daly here, and she has had 19 years in law enforcement. So she really understands what happens in law enforcement and all the interesting things that she's seen done, help people out. It's pretty incredible. So she's been a K-9 handler, a narcotics detective, rapid response team member, defensive tactics instructor. So what does all this mean? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out her educational pathway, do some detective searching and stuff. I'm going to stop my screen now, share screen, and I will let her take over from here.
Hi, girls. Like Katie said, my name is Investigator Shannon Daly. I've been in law enforcement now 20 years. I want to make sure, can you guys all hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, perfect. Right now I'm an investigator at the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office, which is in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And what that means is I'm kind of like a detective for the district attorney. So if there's a case that goes to court and there's more work that needs to be done on that case, that's what we do in the investigations unit. We support our victim advocates, we support our prosecutors, and just make sure that the cases are all tied together and all the evidence that is needed can be presented in court. And so I brought some of my friends with me as well that are going to help me out today. Just so you guys know, this is going to be super interactive. You don't have to raise hands to say anything. Just go ahead and shout stuff out when you have an idea. But first, I'm going to let my friends come up and introduce themselves, and then we'll get going with investigating a crime scene, because I understand for at least some of you, there's a badge that can be earned for this. So hopefully we can help you get that badge. Anyway.
Okay, fine. I'll go first. Hi, girls. My name is Elizabeth Robinson, and I'm also an investigator here with Shannon. I've been a police officer for 15 years now. I was on the road and now here as a detective. And I'm happy to participate, and hopefully you'll earn your badge tonight.
Hello, I'm Nicole Williams. I'm also an investigator here at the District Attorney's Office, and I've been in law enforcement for about 12 years. I was a probation officer, and then I was on the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Task Force, and I was also on the U.S. Marshals Task Force. So now I'm an investigator here at the DA's office. So good luck to you guys and have fun.
Hi girls, I'm Cassie. I'm a victim advocate here at the District Attorney's Office. I've been here for about 3 years and I work with Shannon directly.
Hey, my name's Blake. I'm a prosecutor here at the DBJ or at the District Attorney's Office. I do juvenile prosecutions right now. I've been doing that for about 2 years now. I hope you guys have a good time.
All right, so if you will bear with me for a second, I'm going to try to figure out how to make my screen so that I can see more of you. I'm not sure how to do that. Who knows more about Zoom than I do? Oh, that button. Yay. All right. Now I can see you guys. Hi, girls. All right. So I see a whole bunch of you guys are on mute. So I need you guys to unmute, because otherwise I won't be able to hear your questions.
Hi.
There we go. Because what we're going to do today is I have a crime scene set up, and you guys are going to get to investigate the crime scene. So I need you guys to tell me what questions to ask, what stuff we should look at, what evidence you think is important. And if you guys are muted, then I can't hear you. So are you guys ready?
Yes.
All right.
That's why I from my investigator hat.
All right. Well, I will try not to move this around so much that it makes anybody ill. But I want you guys to be able to see the whole crime scene. We'll come on out here. All right. So here's what the crime is. Lux, do you have a question, honey?
Do we have to unmute now, or because can't we just unmute when we have a question?
If you want to do that, that's fine. I just want to make sure that if you have a question, I can hear you guys.
Okay.
Yes, Olivia.
I don't have to.
All right.
I can
Well,
actually put my hand under.
All right. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. So here's your crime. You guys are the police officers. You guys get called to somebody's house that just had their house broken into. Okay. So we're going to pretend like this is a house.
Regular size.
So here's the front door to the house. What do you guys see right here?
I see some. What is it? The window's cracked.
Yes, very good. What else is on there?
It's like some Was blind.
Yeah. So if there's blood on there, maybe our suspect hurt themselves breaking the window. What do you think? All right, so we're gonna interview our victim, okay?
I did not see the blood. You
Oh,
tilted down. Oh, now I see it.
okay. All right, so we're gonna interview our victim. This is our victim.
Hi, officers. My name's Blake, the victim. Don't. No, that's not good investigative tactics. So, So tonight I was upstairs. I was watching TV in a little movie area I have with my dogs, and I heard like a window or some glass breaking. My dogs started barking, so I ran to the top of the stairs and I looked down and I saw some lady running out of my front door. I went downstairs. I saw my window was broken. I noticed my laptop was missing, and I freaked out. So my door was just open with some lady running out. I called the police. I really haven't gone anywhere else in my house because I've been too scared to walk around. I'm afraid somebody might be here. So that's as far as I've gotten so far. And then I called you all to investigate.
All right. So what do you guys think is important to do first?
Go check out the house.
Yeah, go check out the house. Who said that? Who was that? Olivia. Somebody's got only their cell phone name up there, so I'm not sure what your actual name is, but I heard a few people say check out the house. So we checked out the house, and there's nobody else inside the house, but we've got this broken window with blood. And then what do we have down here?
What?
Is that more blood?
Yeah. Oh, right down there.
Yeah.
Can't see it.
Oh, how's that?
Oh yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
Good.
So now as we're checking out the house, what else do we see?
More blood.
Bloody footprints. Good. Yep. So what do you guys think those bloody footprints give us an idea of?
The suspect? Maybe
where the suspect went.
Mm-hmm. Maybe to lead the detective in the wrong direction.
That could be. They might set it up to lead the detective in the wrong direction. So as we're checking everything out, we decide to go check with some neighbors and see if some neighbors saw anything. So now we're going to go interview a witness.
I already ordered. Hi.
Hi.
Okay, you don't mind. Do you have any questions to ask me?
What do you guys think would be important to ask?
Did you see any people run away? Did you see any people running?
Perfect.
Yeah, so I was pulling up in my driveway and I saw somebody run out from across the street, and they were holding a bag and they ran that way. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. Any more questions?
Finger duster. What time was it when this happened?
Good question. It was about 5 minutes ago.
What else do you think is important? What would we use to identify the suspect?
A picture or a security camera? Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Do you have you seen anything like something like computer pieces or anything electric or anything around here?
Did I see anything around here?
Yeah, that doesn't really come up later, like now. That's unusual.
No, like I know the guy across the street, which is the one that, that I saw the person's house running out, the person running out of the house. I know he lives alone with his dogs, so there shouldn't have been anyone else in his house at the time. So, I mean, I saw his light on upstairs, and then I saw, I heard his dogs barking and that kind of thing, but I didn't see anything else unusual except for the lady running out. So she ran out and, she had a bag in her hand. So
what clothing did she wear?
Good question. So she had, she was wearing shoes that had some kind of pattern on them. She was tall and skinny. She had light brown to blondish hair.
Are you sure it was a lady? It could have been a man in disguise to lead the detectives away.
You're right, but from what I saw, it was a lady, but you are correct. She
Did
had
she
on
drive
lady shoes
Vehicle?
and, huh?
Did she drive in any vehicle?
Nope, she just ran.
What did the bag look like?
It was a black bag with a big long strap on it.
Did you see anything in it? Like
It was closed, so I didn't see anything in it.
Did you see any
So here, let me jump real quick. So you guys have other officers that are in the area with you. What information do you think would be important to let those other officers know? Olivia?
They would need like some things that you would use to solve a mystery.
Well, yes, but what do you girls think that something is? What information did you just get from the witness that you think would help those other officers try to identify who the suspect is?
It was blondish, like their hair color. What was their color like? Another
Perfect.
neighbor. What was the skin color like? And we could do like
What
the
was-
bag
what
was
was her-
black
what
with a
was her
strap.
color like?
Her skin color, she was a white female.
All right. So we put that description out to our partners, and they've stopped 2 people who are matching that description. So we're gonna go find them. And you guys get to ask those 2 people questions to see if we can figure out who the suspect is.
Their hair could have been dyed.
All right. So here is the first person that got stopped.
What do you want?
What do you guys want from her?
What do you want?
We want to know what did you steal? Where were you 5 minutes ago? Yeah.
Very
I'm
good.
walking
Yeah.
around the neighborhood.
What did you do 5 minutes ago?
Do you notice something about her?
Ma'am,
Just walking around the neighborhood.
can we please see what's inside of your bag?
No.
Okay, so we got a question about what's inside of the bag, but she's not gonna
Where
let us
were
see
you
what's
going?
inside it. Where were you going?
I'm just walking.
Oh,
Are
she's
you
not,
sure?
she's not
No,
being
let's
very
go.
helpful with information. What do you think we should look at on her?
Can we see your bag?
You can see the bag.
Let's see if there's any
So
more.
that's
Bag.
similar, right? What other information did we get from Nicole?
Let's see if there's any red marks. Can we see your shoes?
There we go. Who said that? Who asked to see the shoes?
Me.
Caitlin, very good.
Yeah, sure. You can see my shoes.
So there's her shoes. We've got cowboy boots.
Can we see
All right.
the pattern on underneath your shoes?
Very good. Was that Adriana?
Yeah.
Very good. Yep.
Sure.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Let's
no
see the
problem.
pattern.
What was the cheese spread?
Not much of a pattern, huh?
Okay.
We've got a big heel. So if our shoe patterns
There's no blood.
have a big heel.
Let's go compare the pattern to the footprints we saw in the.
Very good. Let's go check that out.
And then we'll check out the other suspect.
Yeah. All right. So we're coming back over here to our footprints. Can you guys see that?
Yes. That doesn't look like the print on.
It doesn't, does it? So maybe we should talk to the other person.
Pattern. Or they could have just changed their shoes after that. Or
Yeah.
before
They-
for
they
different
could've.
shoes.
All right. I
And
want to
then
know who
change
keeps
to make them
getting
look
all the
innocent.
creative ideas. Which girl is the one with all the creative ideas? That are you sure it's a woman? Maybe they changed their shoes. Who is
I
that?
think that was me.
I'm gonna have to keep an eye on you.
Come with me if you want. But
Can we look in your bag?
you want to come with me?
No, she already said that we can't look in her bag.
Hold on. I have a question. I think we should check the other one because it didn't have any blood. Her shoes didn't have any blood.
Exactly. All right. So here's our other suspect. What do you guys want to ask her?
Do you have any red marks?
Oh,
Where were you going? The bottom of your shoes.
Bottom of my shoes. I'm just
Well,
walking
do you
to my
think maybe
friend's
you
house.
should start with like, hi, who are you? What are you doing over here? Let's start there.
Where were you 5 minutes? Where were you maybe about 6 minutes ago now?
I've just been walking around. My friend's house is like right over here. I'm just going to my friend's house.
Can we see what's inside of that bag?
No, I don't really want you looking in my bag. No.
But we have to look through that bag just to make sure.
Like which one isn't the one that did it? It could be.
Yeah.
That's here.
So, hey, do you guys remember what it was that Nicole said about the suspect shoes? Who remembers?
It had a pattern on it.
It had a pattern on it. So what do you think? Do we want to see her shoes?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see that. Oh, check those out. What do you guys think?
Those are really good matches.
Do those have a pattern on them?
Yeah, they have a pattern.
Yeah.
Open the door for me.
And then what about, do you see the points on them? So does that look more like our shoe pattern?
Yeah, a little bit. Can we
It
see
does,
the
yeah.
bottom of the shoe?
Can we see the bottom of your shoes?
Bottom shoe.
Oh, there we go.
Wait a minute. It's probably her. I don't know. It doesn't look like the zigzag pattern on the other shoe that we saw in the house.
Well, we'll chalk that up to my lack of artistic ability. But she's wearing the shoes that have a pattern on them, and that's what the neighbor said. So what else do you think we could do to pick out which one of the two people we have stopped, which one is the suspect?
We should really try and get into the bags. Neither of them were willing to show in their bag. We should probably bring them to the other people. We should look in the bags and see what they have.
But what do you think would help us? Who saw the suspect?
Can we see her hand? Neighbor, Nicole?
Yeah, the neighbor saw the
Bring her
suspect.
back to the neighbor. Why don't we ask them to come with us to try and further identify the criminal?
There we go.
That's what I was saying
you
too.
spend all of your free time watching Law and Order.
They're probably both it.
All right, so would our suspects be willing to come back to the crime scene and let the witness take a look at you guys?
Yes.
All right, so we're gonna bring the suspects back over to the crime scene.
Should it still be something where we need to track them down? Yeah. Does any of the suspects have injuries?
Ooh, perfect. Who asked that?
Either hands.
Who asked about the injuries?
It's me.
Who was that? Jamie?
Yeah. Her name is hands.
All right, very, very good. Okay, so one suspect does have an injury on their hand, but let's do our little show and tell with our witness. So remember, here's our witness, Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
So what do we want to ask Nicole?
Could you come with us to try and further identify the suspects? Yes.
Perfect.
What?
Okay, so Nicole's taking a look at the suspects. Miss Nicole, which one was the one you saw running out of the house?
This one right here.
Oh,
With the pattern on her shoes.
all right. So we found our suspect. Good job. You guys
That's a
were
prime
awesome.
suspect.
Yeah. Well, that's our prime suspect. So
Do we have any other suspects?
Well, so I'm gonna set you guys back down so I don't make you sick wandering around. So what stuff from the crime scene do you think that we should take?
I think that it may have been a trick, and there was one person that was running, but the other one was somewhere else and maybe was working with her.
Well, that's always a possibility. What we have in the police world is called the +1 rule, where you find suspects, you know, looking for more. If somebody has one weapon on them, you should always look for more. But we're gonna go for the sake of this investigation. We're gonna stick with, we have one suspect and we have her in custody. So she's getting ready to go to jail. What do you think we need from the crime scene? Do you think we need to take some pictures?
Oh yeah. Picture. Did the house have any security cameras?
No security cameras on the house. But you are right. If there were security cameras on the house, we would want to take the security video. You are absolutely right. What else?
See her bag. It's for fingerprints.
So look at the
Fingerprints, yes. I'm sorry. Milani? Fingerprints, yes.
Look in the
What
bag.
So look at the.
Yep, we would look in the bag. And what would we do with the bag? How would we show that that's the victim's bag? How would we prove it's Blake's bag?
There's probably a name. Both of the bags looks like the same bag.
They do, but what did Blake say was stolen?
His
Laptop. So maybe one of the bags has a laptop in it, and Blake can identify that laptop as being his.
I think you should take a blood.
That would help, right?
Take a blood sample in a bag and try and trace it back to try and trace it back through the DNA inside the blood. See if it's actually her or it might be someone else.
Very good. You are absolutely right. We would take some swabs from the blood that's here that we see on the window and that we see on the ground, and then we would get a warrant for the blood from the suspect. And then we would send those to the lab and we would have the lab compare them to see if they came from the same person or not. Very good, very good. What other information you guys think would be important?
The name on the bag.
Sure, if there's a name on the bag, that might help us prove that it's Blake's bag. Very good. What other questions do you guys think you would want to have answered?
We could take the suspects back to the victim. He saw it too. He saw them run out of the house too.
Yep, he might be able to if he saw him again, but we didn't ask if he saw the suspect again, if he'd be able to identify them. So that's something that's really important to ask. But you guys did an awesome job. We got our criminal. She's on her way to jail. We're gonna keep her there for a long time. Perfect.
Maybe take like prints or fingerprints if the suspect have blood. Maybe try choosing like they will have to have at least a few fingerprints or a weapon to get into the room so a DNA sample or fingerprint can compare because no two fingerprints are the same.
What if the blood was fake?
I'm gonna keep an eye on you. What if the blood is fake?
What if the blood was not cooked bacon?
All right. So, did you guys bring a pencil and a couple pieces of paper?
No.
Do you guys have pencils and a couple pieces of paper? We're gonna do a fingerprint exercise. So what I want you to do once you have a pencil and a piece of paper, I want you to color on the paper really, really, really dark in just like a little 1 inch by 1 inch square. Color it in really, 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 really dark with your pencil. Just a small score.
What is that?
And then once you color it in really, really dark with your pencil, I want you to take your pointer finger and I want you to rub your pointer finger on that spot that you just colored. And then after you rub your pointer finger on that spot, I want you to find a blank spot on your piece of paper and just put your finger down on it. Don't smear it, just put your finger down and then take it right back up. Tell me what you see.
I see
Circle.
circle. I found my fingerprint.
Yeah, you see your fingerprint.
And then push it down on the paper.
I do too.
Yeah. So when people leave fingerprints behind at a scene, that's kind of what it looks like for us. Everybody see it? You see all the detail in there? That's called ridge detail. And everybody's detail is different. So if I leave a fingerprint over here on this table, and then Liz comes by and she puts a fingerprint right next to mine, those two are going to look very, very different when you look at them under a microscope. Everybody get it?
Yes.
All right. So we have only just a few more minutes left. So I want to leave it open to any questions that you guys have for any of us about being detectives, being a prosecutor, being a victim advocate. Do you guys know what a victim advocate is?
No.
No.
So victim advocates, when you become a victim of a crime, victim advocates help you through that process. They help you through court. They go to court with you. They support you. They're very, very, very important in the criminal justice system. Am I missing more pieces?
That's right.
They're very, very important. Who knows what the prosecutor does? Nobody?
No idea.
Where's Adriana? Adriana doesn't know.
The prosecutor is the one that brings the case to trial. He's the attorney, or she. So when you see them in the courtroom, like when you watch Law and Order and you see the attorneys in the courtroom, the prosecutor is the one that is on the side of good. So what questions do you guys have for us?
I have one question about, did all of you go through the same kind of schooling, or did you have to go to police academy for all of those positions, or different backgrounds?
Yeah, for all of us who were investigators, we did have to go to a police academy in order to get what's called in Colorado is post certified. So that's police officer standards and training. We had to go through a police academy. When I went through, it was 17 weeks. 12 weeks.
Mine was 6 months.
Jeez. and now I think it's even a little bit longer than that. But in the academy, that's where they teach you how to collect evidence, how to write reports, what questions to ask people. Yeah, all of that. How to drive fast. Yeah, that's fun. Fast.
What do you like best about being a detective?
I think my favorite thing is when we go all the way to court and somebody gets convicted, is that I was part of bringing justice to that victim, that hopefully they feel better knowing that whoever did something bad to them is now having to pay for that, and that I got to help be a part of that. And driving fast.
Can we play that game again?
I don't know if we have time to play the game again.
No.
I know.
But maybe what you could do is you could try and set up a crime scene at your house and see if your family can solve the problem. Dun, dun, dun.
My mom is really
is
police academy.
A thing?
No, turn off.
There's an app for Clue. Yes. Oh, so you can play Clue on an app, and that's kind of the same thing. Trying to find out if it was Colonel Mustard in the ballroom with candlestick. What other questions do we have? Nobody has any other questions? We have an entire classroom right here.
My BFF has Clue.
Oh, well, see, then that's like being a detective is playing Clue. You got to put all the pieces of the evidence together to find out who it is that did the crime.
What
is being a detective?
What's up?
I read Boxcar for children.
Oh,
Yeah.
boxcar children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How about do you have to work like overnight, or do detectives work like Monday through Friday and not weekends, or what is the working week like?
Well, so that depends. Our normal schedule is Monday through Friday during the daytime. But if a crime happens at night, then they call us out to the crime scene at night. So sometimes we do have to work at night. We each take turns working at night. But as a regular police officer, and that's where everybody has to start out, is being a police officer on patrol, and then you work your way up. You could end up working overnight shifts. You could work only half of the night. So the shifts are, crazy. Weekends. And so if a crime happens on the weekends and it's our turn to get called out, then we have to work the weekend too.
Anybody else have a question, Girl Scouts?
Is it scary being a detective?
It can be. And being a police officer in general is scary. But what I always tell new officers when I train them is to let that still be scary, because the moment you're not afraid anymore is the moment you're going to miss something. So have you guys ever had like the hair on the back of your neck stand up, or like your tummy tells you, hey, something's not right about this situation?
Also,
Always listen to that. And we tell all the new cops, always make sure that you listen to that. If your body is telling you that something is wrong with a situation, you should be somewhat afraid, and you should be trying to figure out, why is my body telling me that something's not right? But you also got to work through that fear so that you can get to the end of the crime scene. If you just let it take over and you run away all the time, that's not going to do your citizens any. Did we have a question in Jamie's class? The things just keep popping around, but I see a hand up in Jamie's class.
What was the worst case that you've had to solve?
Oh,
You can tell the Girl Scouts about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the one that's like really tricky.
Yeah, those are also kind of yucky ones as well.
Yeah.
So we do get a wide array of things, though. It's not always a murder or something like that. We also investigate financial crimes, and those are super, super difficult because you have to go through people's bank records and all that kind of stuff. And those take a very long time, and they're very difficult.
What are financial crimes?
Crimes involving money. So like if somebody steals money out of your bank account, or if somebody writes do people still write checks?
Sometimes.
If somebody writes a check that has your name on it, but it's not your check, they're just pretending to be you, then that would be a financial crime too. Anything involving money.
What type of like crimes do you get the most?
We get everything. We get everything from fights to murders to anything having to deal with money to drugs.
What are drugs?
Drugs are things you should definitely not put in your body.
Unless your doctor tells you to.
Yes, very good. Unless your doctor tells you to.
And also, do you ever get like crimes where it seems like there's a ghost or something, because that's a lot in Boxcar, or like somebody's like, and then one of the detectives always is like, Like, is there a ghost? There is a ghost, and then the other ones have to go. Oh, there is no such thing as a ghost.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
There's
We do
four kids.
sometimes have suspects that try to tell us that a ghost did it or an alien did it or something crazy like that. And then we have to do the same thing and go, aha, nope, you did that. That wasn't a ghost. There's no such thing. It wasn't an alien. Yeah.
How dare you?
Exactly. Anybody else before we wrap up?
Do you like find anything, or do you only do like a criminal or so?
So we go out to the crime scene and we help collect all of the evidence at the crime scene. So like the one that we had with the blood and the broken window and that sort of thing, we would come out and we would help collect the blood, maybe pieces of the broken glass. Since the suspect shoes fit our blood pattern and the witness said that she recognized the shoes, we would take the shoes too as part of evidence. So we would help collect all the stuff at the scene. Did we have one more question from Jamie's class?
You would leave them barefoot?
Yeah, they're gonna be in jail. They don't need their shoes.
They get flip-flops.
Yeah, they get flip-flops in jail.
Why is that funny?
Exhibits like Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C.
Yep. We labeled all the exhibits so that the jury can keep it straight.
Do you guys investigate like other crimes, like from ones like amusement parks like Disney World or Disneyland?
We don't, because we only investigate things that happen in Colorado Springs and the surrounding area.
Makes sense. Do they make you play mystery games as like practice in like police academy?
You know, that would be a lot more fun, but they do set up crime scenes like what we just did, but like much bigger. And we do have to go through exactly like what you guys did and try to collect all the evidence and look at all the evidence and follow that to try to find the suspect and then arrest the suspect. That's a lot of what the police academy is.
Have you ever had to tase somebody?
You've been on an investigation.
I
The long
missed-
time you spent on an investigation.
What about an investigation?
What's the longest time you spent on an investigation?
Wow. Well, they take a long time. So probably, I would say the longest one that I was on was maybe 3 or 4 years. They can take a very long time. I wish it was as quick as it was on TV, but it's not that quick.
What was it about?
That one was a murder. So that's why that one took so long.
Did you ever catch the criminal?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, are we at the end?
Yep. She just
All
asked
right.
if you caught the criminal
Yes.
after the.
Yep. We did.
Yep.
It just took a lot of work.
Oh, it looks like someone at Jamie's house has or wherever Jamie's meeting has a question.
Go ahead, sweetie.
Have you ever had to tase somebody?
The taser.
Yes, I have. But you only do it to protect yourself or somebody else from getting hurt. They're not toys. They don't feel good. So the only time you use those to protect yourself or somebody else from getting hurt.
Did you have to what?
Someone asked, like, what does it do to your body? If
Yeah, what
someone
does
gets
tasing
tased?
do?
It makes you go all stiff. So you know, like how on TV when somebody gets tased and they go, and then they fall down. It's like that, except for you don't go to sleep afterwards. You stay awake. But it makes your body go all stiff, and then you fall down.
All right. Any last questions? We can take a couple more, I think. Go ahead.
Okay. Did we just lose Jamie's class? Oh, there it is.
What was the first crime you solved? Like what type of crime?
Ooh. Wow, now you're making me feel old because that was 20 years ago, so I had to think. Oh, it was a burglary. Somebody broke into somebody else's house and stole a bunch of jewelry. And so I had pictures of the jewelry from the victim. And I went around to all of the pawn shops in the area and found some of the jewelry had been pawned. And so pawn shop's kind of like a place where you trade jewelry or electronics or something for money. But you have to leave a picture of your ID when you do that. So the person had left a picture of their ID with the pawn shop, and that's how I was able to identify the suspect.
And someone asked, does the victim get their jewelry back?
Yes.
It eventually gets back in the evidence and then back to them.
What's the shortest amount of time that you've completed like an investigation in?
Really anything when somebody is still on scene, when somebody is still at the scene of the crime, that makes it super fast.
Like how fast?
Well, that's kind of like you show up, like think about if you're at school and there's a fight at school. Who's got school resource officers? None of you guys have school resource officers?
Do you have police officers that are at your schools?
No.
Oh, we even have them in the elementary schools out here.
A bunch
So,
of
okay, how about just like teachers in the school? If there's a fight in the school and the teachers show up right away to break it up, then they're there right away to break it up. And so when you have a police officer in your school, that's kind of the same thing. So when I was a school resource officer, we would get fights in the lunchroom or outside or whatever. And that's one of those like right there, immediate, we've got it.
And somebody else asked, how long does a case stay open? It's 3 years, but do you keep going and going and going and going? Or when do you say, okay, we've got to close this case because we can't figure it out, we might reopen it?
It depends on the type of crime. So if it's a homicide, that can stay open forever until somebody's caught. But like this burglary, if we didn't find a suspect within 18 months, then it kind of goes cold and we close it unless new information comes up that leads us to, hey, maybe it was Cass that did it.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Was there ever
do you have one more question?
Was there ever a case that you couldn't solve?
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, we do have cases that we can't solve. I wish we could solve them all. Not all of them end up having this good of evidence that we can follow to a suspect in the area. So unfortunately, we don't get to solve them all. I wish we could.
What my children have all kinds of stuff like that where like it's stuff like where there's hardly any evidence, but then they still figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun.
I get the last minute before they're gonna go home. I'll finally catch the slur.
Yeah, those are good books.
What types of cases are you not able to solve?
It can just depend. If you're a victim of something, but you don't know who did it and we don't have any evidence at the scene, that makes it very difficult for us to solve. So it could be any type of case.
Here's a good question. So when you say there's a reward for somebody, to turn somebody in, where does that money come from?
That comes from donations. So community partners can donate to that. Does some of that from any fees?
Yeah, there's victim compensation paid as part of the.
But the reward,
oh,
like Crime Stoppers,
sure
that's solely donations, right?
Yeah, that's
yeah. So donations.
One that is a victim. I mean that someone that someone that you think is gonna be it says, I'm not it, and this is, I don't even know what happened, but they actually are the victim or the person who did it, and they just are pretending they didn't know what you're talking about.
Or like they get confused onto who's the victim and who's the criminal?
No, they know. The person who is the criminal pretends to not know that they pretends that they aren't the criminal.
Yeah, that probably happens a lot.
Evidence comes in. So just like when we stopped Cass, if Cass was pretending like she didn't know what happened and she didn't know what was going on, but we looked at, ooh, she matches the description. She's got a bag that matches the description. Ooh, now we're looking at her shoes and her shoes match the description. Now we're putting all those pieces together so that we can say it was Cass that committed this crime.
It's like a puzzle.
Yes, exactly.
Piece, and you are missing a piece, which is the criminal. But once you find it, you find the piece, and then you put it in the puzzle.
Yep.
And then the puzzle is all big.
Yep.
Big, and then
the better puzzle
is
if to Blake, and he's going to have after a trial holding somebody accountable.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks, girls, for coming tonight and listening and solving that crime. That was awesome to hear. So if everybody can say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe, yeah, when you get older, you'll be out solving crimes. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.